Chapter 1622. There was treasure everywhere. 1. Now, everyone could hear the sizzling sound of being barbecued coming from the body of the hidden-eyed purple spider's king. Seemed to be the burnt smell from being roasted. Seeing the king of the hidden-eyed purple spiders being burned into black coal, immediately, all the hidden-eyed purple spiders stopped their attack. Because without a commander, right now they don't know what they ought to do. Okay? It seems as if they have all become stupid. Bei Qining looked at that group of hidden-eyed purple spiders looking at each other in dismay not far away. He was suddenly speechless. How was it that these hidden-eyed purple spiders looked so stupid? Just when Bei Qining was uncertain, Ziyan cried out in surprise. Hey, these hidden-eyed purple spiders all ran away. What to do? To chase or not? Running away is best. Why chase them? Luo Haoming frowned in disapproval. Ziyan sent him a glare, then used an inquiring gaze to look at Su Luo. Su Luo looked at that pile of little stones in her space, counted it slightly and was very satisfied with the number, so she said, since they ran, then forget it. We should quickly leave this place to avoid side issues that might arise. Although it was a bit of a pity to watch the hidden-eyed purple spiders run away, however, Su Luo also knew that this forest was deep and strange. No one knew when some unforeseen event would occur. It's best to hurriedly leave this place. Moreover, while Su Luo felt those little stones were useful, but even she couldn't say what use they had. As a result, everyone unanimously decided to quickly leave here. Up ahead, a precipice ended this road. The other side was at a distant far away outside. Above the precipice, a deep cold hurricane rolled by. Wanting to fly through the sky to pass over was simply impossible. Fortunately, between the two precipices was a bridge made of iron chains. This shouldn't be called an iron chain bridge, because there was a single iron link that extended across between the two precipices. It floated about in the hurricane force winds. Seemingly at any moment, it would be blown apart. If it was an ordinary person, maybe their complexion would pale from being frightened and directly roll down from the precipice. Fortunately, this time, none of the people who came were ordinary. So when they saw this tiny iron wire, they only frowned. I'll go first. Dong Fengxian coldly humphed. Directly wanted to step on the iron wire. Out of the question. Bei Qinying's face was full of disapproval. If you went over and then cut off the iron wire? Then, what are we the people behind you to do? At that time, wouldn't it be you alone who will get the treasures? Bei Qining asked the question in everyone's heart. Ziyan's face was full of not being convinced. It's best if first senior brother waits to be the last to go. If you walk in the front, we won't feel assured. You this eat the inside and collide with the outside loathsome girl. There isn't a place for you to talk here, okay? Dong Fengxian sent an annoyed glare at Ziyan. Here is the place for her to speak, but whether it has a place for you to speak is difficult to say. Su Luo had both hands crossed over her chest and coldly smiled. Don't you forget who discovered this secret roaming dragon territory. This was discovered by Grandmaster Rong Yun, therefore, as Grandmaster Rong Yun's direct disciple, Su Luo absolutely had the authority to speak. You this loathsome girl, see how long you can be so arrogant. Dong Fengxian was helpless, so he could only yield. He indeed had some restrained fear for Grandmaster Rong Yun, moreover, Nangong Luyan was at his side. Now, the Nangong Luyan that had advanced to the commander rank had the strength to dealt him a fatal blow. Therefore, even if Dong Fengxian was a dragon, he still needed to lay low. After everyone discussed this, they decided both sides would walk based on a sequence. First was Bei Qining, then Liao Chen. After, was Ziyan, then Luo Haoming. In the end, on this side of the precipice, only Su Luo, Nangong Luyan and Dong Fengxian remained. Chapter 1623. There was treasure everywhere, too. According to reason, now it's my turn, right? Dong Fengxian smilingly lifted an eyebrow. Dong Fengxian's fake smile put Su Luo in a bad mood from looking at him. As a result, her lips curled into a sneer. According to reason? Who is reasoning with you? Don't you know being deliberately provocative is a privilege that belongs specifically to women? With Nangong Liuyun's unconditional support, Su Luo said this, full of confidence. Immediately, Dong Fengxian choked and he almost rolled his eyes. You're good, you're powerful. The saint said it correctly. Sure enough, a woman and a vile person are hard to raise. Dong Fengxian flung his sleeves and in a rage turned his face away. I am a woman, you are a vile person. We are no better than the other. The eldest shouldn't talk about the second eldest. How am I a vile person? You have a guy supporting you and think you can say such venomous slander? Ever since Dong Fengxian entered the secret roaming dragon territory, he had restrained a belly full of gas. Being said by Su Luo like this, he was angered to laugh. He couldn't help but start to have a verbal battle with her. Where are you a person of noble character? If you are a person of noble character, how could you make the unmarried Li Yaoyao pregnant? Su Luo's tone was even and unhurried, but it infuriated Dong Fengxian terribly. I have nothing to say to you. Dong Fengxian had an appearance of being too lazy to bother bickering with her. As if I really wanted to talk to you. So old and you still haven't broken through to commander rank. And you were the earliest to enter the door as first senior brother. The master of Purgatory City's face has been completely lost by you. Su Luo stuck out her tongue, her whole face full of disdain. You. This was the first time the shady, ruthless and cruel Dong Fengxian was angered until his eyes turned white. He fiercely glared towards Nangong Luyan. In a threatening voice, trying to drive a wedge between them. Third junior brother. A woman that even dares to insult master, you really dare to marry? Aren't you afraid master would blame you? Master for sure won't blame me and Luo. As for whether he would blame you. Nangong Liuyun's dark as black ink sharp eyebrows lifted up slightly. He slowly spit out 5 words. There is a great possibility. Third junior brother, is there a problem with your head? Dong Fengxian found it extremely ridiculous. Clearly, the person insulting master was Su Luo girl. Yet Nangong Luyan actually made a solemn vow that master would not blame him. This was simply ridiculous. Nangong Luyan used the expression of looking at an idiot to disdainfully cast him a glance. Soon after, he told Su Luo in a low tone. This wind here is a bit big, it will feel slightly rocky. But I will always accompany by your side, so don't be afraid. And Su Luo smilingly replied. In fact, she completely didn't need to cross on this iron chain bridge. She only needed to teleport, and she would reach the opposite side. Because after this recent period of cultivation, Su Luo's grasp of the rules of teleport was even more developed. Originally, at Central Palace, she couldn't control the distance and place she teleported to. Now, she could teleport within 5 kilometers without any pressure. If there was only her alone here, there was no harm in Su Luo teleporting over. But since they were in a team, Su Luo naturally wouldn't reveal her trump card to Dong Fengxian's group. Finished telling her, Nangong Luyan placed Su Luo on his back and went on the iron chain bridge, leaving behind a discontent and without other choice Dong Fengxian. This iron wire chain-linked bridge, sure enough, was thin enough to be overlooked. A person standing on it would drift in the wind light as a feather. Laying on Nangong Luyan's back, Su Luo looked down. She only saw the heavy mist below, so deep that the bottom could not be seen. On the side, the hurricane-like wind rolled over at any time. There was the danger of them falling over. Chapter 1624. There was treasure everywhere. 3. Fortunately, she had Nangong Luyan at her side. He was like a towering huge mountain, steady and giving people a sense of security. As if with him, no danger would descend on her body. Nangong Liuyun's footsteps were very steady, as if stepping on flat ground. The small hurricane winds that rushed towards him from all around didn't seem to affect him at all. Very quickly, as if walking on flat ground, he had arrived at the opposite precipice. Where is Li Aochen and Luo Haoming? How come I don't see the two of them? Su Luo said thoughtfully. The Ma already left. Ziyin gave a cold humph unhappily. As if they were afraid if we go together with them, we would snatch the good stuff from them. Each of them rushed to be reborn. Su Luo inevitably laughed out loud. Maybe they felt that running faster, their probability of finding treasures would be greater. Seeking treasure also depends on luck. They don't have that kind of luck. Ever since Beichening ate loss after loss, this time he was very certain he must hold tightly onto Su Luo's thigh. To blindly follow behind her, only this way. Even if Su Luo ate meat, he at least could drink some soup. This soup was 100 times better than him rushing about randomly. Now Dongfang Xian had already slowly walked over. His gloomy and cold gaze swept over everyone. Soon after, his figure flashed and disappeared in place. Looks like Dongfang Xian is also in a hurry. We should also go quickly. Ziyan was afraid that the treasures really would be snatched away, so she hurriedly urged everyone to move. As a result, the group of people used their martial arts and followed along this straight little pathway between the mountain to speed ahead. Before, no one had come to the secret roaming dragon territory. As a result, there wasn't a map, so they could only look while they walked. After traveling for about 1 hour, a wooden room appeared up ahead. There was actually a little wooden room in this primitive jungle? Could it be that there were traces of humans having lived here before? Su Luo and Nangong Luyan exchanged a glance, a curious light flashing through their eyes. Ha, Luo Haoming's group of 3 are all standing outside that door. All of them look like blocks of wood, very interesting. Bei Chenying's eyesight was very good. Separated by a great distance, although he couldn't see too clearly, he could vaguely see an outline. We should also go over. Nangong Luyan pulled Su Luo to take the lead and headed in that direction. Having gotten closer, they could finally see clearly the scene in front of them. Bei Chenying said it correctly. Luo Haoming's group of 3 were like fools standing there, okay? But when they saw the things on the shelf from the doorway of the little wooden room, Su Luo's group sucked in a breath of cold air. The little wooden room wasn't big, but it was made from the best black iron wood and was well fortified. The strangest thing was, a shelf of goods was arranged in front of the door to the little wooden room. Behind the shelf was a benevolent-looking old man with gray hair. And the goods on that shelf was the reason Su Luo's group sucked in a breath of cold air. On that seemingly common shelf made from red sandalwood was neatly arranged a pile of treasures. High-level martial arts. Black-colored crystal stones. Transparent crystal ball. Purple wings. Grandmaster-level medicinal pills. Emperor-level medicinal pills. Many treasures. Even Su Luo, who was accustomed to seeing treasures, now wasn't able to remain calm. These treasures, placed outside, would absolutely cause a huge fight in the world. But to simply display it here like this? Was it for sale? This white-bearded old grandpa wasn't afraid that the stuff would be snatched by other people? Also, what's wrong with Li Aochen, Dongfang Xian and Luo Haoming? Why was it that they were like statues? Su Luo unknowingly said this sentence out loud. The white-bearded old grandpa behind the shelf smiled kindly. He seemed very affable. He gently explained to Su Luo. These 3 little guys didn't ask and courted disaster to themselves. They are frozen stiff by ball of ice. It's nothing, in a while they'll return to before. Chapter 1625. There was treasure everywhere for. Ball of ice frozen solid? Su Luo's gaze once again landed on those seemingly simple, old-fashioned shelves. One square after another square shelf section. The dimensions were the same. It was neat and tidy. There was a treasure in every one of the sections. As if one could casually take one out. But Nangong Liuyun's brows were raised slightly as he said to Su Luo. Surrounding the shelf of goods is a circle of mysterious ice fog. Colorless, tasteless and transparent, it can invisibly injure people. So it was like this. Su Luo surreptitiously nodded. This sounded right. If there wasn't a measure of protection, anyone could go up to take it. Then it wouldn't be fun at all. It seemed that because of their greed, Dongfang Xian's 3 people were temporarily frozen stiff. Su Luo's guess was pretty close. In fact, after Dongfang Xian, several people saw these treasures. Each and every one of them was so excited that they couldn't control themselves. Let alone to say, these treasures were so frankly displayed in front of them. Wasn't it just a naked lure to entice them? So they probed the white-bearded old grandpa, and discovered that there wasn't a trace of spirit power on the white-bearded old grandpa. As a result, the 3 of them just rushed up to snatch the treasures like bandits that had just left the mountain. But when their hand had extended out towards the red sandalwood shelf, they then discovered that they were frozen in place. Subconsciously, they tried withdrawing their hand, but that mysterious ice fog could enter any hole had already entered their body from their fingertips. Fortunately, they had abandoned it very quickly and also retreated just as swiftly. Otherwise, if more threads of the mysterious ice fog was to enter their body, not to speak of cultivation, It would even be hard for them to keep their life. Looking at those three who were frozen like popsicles, Su Luo understandingly nodded. Sure enough, a person mustn't be too greedy. Treasures that can be picked up as one wished? How could there be such good things? Elderly grandpa, are these treasures being offered for sale? Su Luo smiled sincerely and enthusiastically. The index finger on the right hand of the white-bearded old man shook. Little miss, these stuff aren't here to be sold. Elder grandpa, then putting them out on display, is it only for people to look at? Ziyan gathered up and asked. The white-bearded old man slowly shook his head and smiled mysteriously. He pointed at the machine on the side that was half the height of a person and said to Su Luo and Ziyan, "Do you see this? This is..." Su Luo carefully looked at that machine. This machine only reached Su Luo's belly. It was built simply. Below it was a 3-legs-like stand. On top was a flatboard monitor-like thing. Underneath the screen was a small hole with a funnel that looked like a coin slot. This is... Su Luo was bewildered. Prize drawing machine. The white-bearded old grandpa cleared up Su Luo's confusion. So easy and you can't tell what it is. Hiccup. Su Luo speechlessly grabbed her head. Prize drawing machine? She really was unable to tell. Could it be that the stuff on the shelf are all prizes? To use as a reward? Su Luo suddenly realized. Can't be considered too stupid. The white-bearded old grandpa smiled faintly. Then how is the prize drawn? Elder grandpa, please tell us quickly. With regards to prize drawing, Beichen was most interested in this. As a result, he quickly gathered close. His pitch-black, clear, bright and pretty eyes flashed, radiating out star-like lights. Just at this moment, Dong Fengxian's figure suddenly appeared. His straight body leaned, suddenly knocking Su Luo to the side. Afterwards, his bright and shining gaze looked towards the white-bearded old grandpa as he eagerly asked, "Elder, how to use this machine?" Now not only Dong Fengxian, Luo Haoming and Li Aochen's bodies also recovered their freedom. They all rushed over. As a result, Su Luo's group was all squeezed out to the side. Hey, in the end, do you guys understand what's called first come first served? Want to draw prizes, go line up behind. Why be so anxious? Ziyan's annoyed gaze swept toward those three people. Chapter 1626. There was treasure everywhere, 5. But those three people's flashing gazes stared at the white-bearded old grandpa. Ziyan still wanted to say something, but was pulled to a stop by Su Luo. Her eyes were half narrowed into a smile, as she smilingly looked at those three people, then said to Ziyan, "Don't be so anxious. I want to see what kind of trick those three people will use." It was very clear that the white-bearded old grandpa seemed harmless, but wasn't a saint-like father that would allow someone to hit his face again. This old grandpa's body is formed from his spirit. Nangong Luyan said in a low voice by Su Luo's ear. Body is formed from his spirit? Su Luo's eyes flashed slightly. If this white-bearded old grandpa's body was formed from his spirit, then he wasn't an ordinary human, right? It seemed that this secret roaming dragon territory was full of mystery and strangeness. It also had all kinds of nice surprises. As long as you had good luck, you would constantly be nicely surprised. Now the white-bearded old grandpa scowled, pretending to be distressed as he looked at the heads in front of him. "Elder, just now we were in the wrong. We were too impulsive. You must by all means not take offense. The group of us all entered the secret roaming dragon territory. You should treat us equally, am I right?" Dong Fengxian was very flexible. With one sentence, he had just erased those bad things they just did and even requested equal treatment. The white-bearded old grandpa's brows wrinkled deeply. After a long while he said, "Since it is like that, then fine. Take out the white stones to draw prizes." White stones? The three heads exchanged a glance. What kind of stuff was that? The white-bearded old grandpa's displeased gaze swept over. "Along the way to my little lucky cabin. Could it be that you guys didn't collect any white stones?" Dong Fengxian's brain spun very fast and in a flash he guessed it. "Elder, what you are referring to is those little stones that exploded out from the hidden-eyed purple spiders. You guys call those little spiders hidden-eyed purple spiders? It seems to fit. Go, 100 white stones will give you one chance to draw a prize." The white-bearded old grandpa pointed at that prize-drawing machine. His smile was gentle. The white-bearded old grandpa gave them the equal treatment they wanted, didn't strip them of the qualification to draw prizes. But now, the three people looked at each other in dismay. White stones. At that time, there were indeed white stones, but at that time they felt the stones took up too much space, so gifted them all to Su Luo. As a result, the three heads simultaneously turned toward Su Luo, their eyes flashing with naked light. In fact, just now when the white-bearded old grandpa was speaking, Su Luo was also very shocked. Because even she never expected that those stones would come in handy like this. At that time, it was her sixth sense that felt it might be useful. 100 pieces could get one chance to draw a prize, then it looks like she would get a lot of chances. Su Luo's heart was as sweet as if she had drunk honey. Sensing those three people's undisguised gazes, the corner of Su Luo's mouth hooked up faintly. She nestled against Nangong Liuyun's chest, casting sidelong glances at them with a ghost of a smile. Take out the white stones. Dongfang Xian directly opened his mouth to demand. Before Su Luo could speak, Ziyan was already angry enough to stamp her feet. She pointed at Dongfang Xian and rained curses on him, saying, "Dongfang Xian, what's your meaning? Those all belong to Su Luo alone. Why should she give them to you?" Dongfang Xian's gaze faintly swept by this jumping around little junior sister, and directly ignored her. After passing over her, his gaze shot directly towards Su Luo. Those white stones were from everyone's painstaking effort in the fight. Why give it to you alone to use? Even if Ziyan is stupid and wants to give all the white stones to you, but we are not stupid. That's right, we are not stupid. Now Luo Haoming, in a united front with Dongfang Xian, stood out with chest high. Chapter 1627. There was treasure everywhere. 6. Su Luo, quickly return to us the white stones we ought to receive. Li Aochen pressured her, step by step, and formed a united front with those two. Seeing the people on the two sides were about to argue, the white-bearded old grandpa suddenly laughed. In passing, he even fished out a table, then a chair to sit on. After which he poured some green tea, having refreshments while watching the good play. Seeing the white-bearded old grandpa having the appearance of watching a good show, the corner of Su Luo's mouth twitched, feeling speechless. From beginning to end, Nangong Luyun stood behind Su Luo, becoming her most solid support. He gave her all his support and encouragement. The white stones you guys ought to receive. Su Luo's indifferent gaze swept across them, her tone light as a feather but carrying an endless amount of sarcasm. Before, when I asked you guys whether you wanted or not, what was it you guys said? Especially you, Dongfang Xian. At that time, how did you answer it? Don't think everyone is like you who can't remember. No matter how thick-skinned Dongfang Xian was, under everyone's eyes, wanting to go back on his words, the difficulty of this task was still very high. If you forgot, I can remind you. You said these stuff didn't have any spirit force. What's the use of having it? If you want it, then take it all. Dongfang Xian at that time, isn't that what you said? Su Luo pressed closer, step by step, forcefully saying, full of confidence. Dongfang Xian lost the war, switched out to Luo Haoming going up. But before Luo Haoming could speak, Su Luo gave a cold sneer. At that time, who was it that disdained these white stones would take up space, so voluntarily abandoned it? Luo Haoming, don't say it was me who forced you. Oh. Luo Haoming's face turned red, his lips moved, but in the end, being in the wrong, he retreated in defeat. Li Aochen was also the same, but the three of them were unwilling from beginning to the end. Su Luo coldly sneered. At that time, when we were surrounded by the hidden-eyed purple spiders, who yelled that he didn't have any spirit force. And also, who was it that gave you guys Grandmaster-level spirit restoration pill? If there weren't any Grandmaster-level spirit restoration pills, would you guys' strength have been restored so quickly? And to safely break out of the encirclement by the hidden-eyed purple spiders intact without a hair being touched? The three people was silent. They couldn't deny this. According to reason, I spent Grandmaster-level spirit restoration pills. Ultimately, the spoils of war should belong to me. This point, no matter where you go, will not be doubted. What do you guys say? Su Luo's lips hooked into a ghost of a smile. In fact, at that time, She had already thought of the possibility that this dispute would occur. So, she was willing to take out the Grandmaster-level spirit restoration pills to give to them. This was called a one-time buy out of the spoils of war. The three people suddenly realized. It turned out Su Luo had already anticipated this. That's why she was so generous at that time. Loathsome girl, it turned out you already thought of this. You already knew these white stones could be used to draw prizes, right? Dongfang Xian resentfully glared at Su Luo. Grandmaster Rong Yun must have told her in advance. Otherwise, why would she gather those rubbish white-colored stones? Dongfang Xian was certain it was so. Master simply can't enter the secret roaming dragon territory. Moreover, we are the first to come in here. So my master simply couldn't have known about these white stones in advance. Su Luo coldly sneered. Of course, if you don't believe it, I have no way to convince you. I'm not trying to explain it to you, but stating a fact. Dongfang Xian was infuriated until he wanted to go crazy, but was powerless against Su Luo's logic. He could only fiercely turn his face away. Finish settling those three people, only then did Su Luo smilingly consult the white-bearded old grandpa's meaning. Elder, can I start now? Chapter 1628. There was treasure everywhere. 7. The white-bearded old grandpa stroked his beard calmly said, Go, draw it properly. Seeing that you, this girl, has a clear and bright face, luck may not be so bad. This was the first time the white-bearded old grandpa opened his door to do business. Naturally, he wanted to have a good omen. Okay, borrowing luck from your words. Su Luo cupped her hand over a fist in respect. Then her attention returned to the stage of the prize drawing. Su Luo took out 100 white stones from her space and placed it in the funnel-like opening. Ding dong, a crisp, beautiful sound continuously transmitted out. Hearing this beautiful sound, Dongfang Xian's brows tightly puckered. A vicious cold light flashed through his eyes. It was as if he could see Su Luo collect all of those treasures on the shelf. His heart started to twitch in distress. When Su Luo's 100 white stones entered, very quickly, the originally pitch-black screen instantly lit up. As a result, Su Luo could clearly see the button on it. So just push this button? This was the first time Su Luo used it, so she was somewhat uncertain. As a result, she turned to ask the white-bearded old grandpa. The white-bearded old grandpa was reclining on the chair, bathing lazily in the sun. His face was full of enjoyment and pleasure. Seeing Su Luo ask, he gave an aha as a reply. As a result, Su Luo's gaze once again returned to the screen. How about I press it? Bei Qining, full of interest, rubbed his hands. He had never seen something like this, but it looked very interesting. Su Luo saw he was full of interest, so she automatically retreated 2 steps and nodded her head to say, Sure, you come try your luck. Bei Qining saw Su Luo agreed, and his pretty large eyes shone brightly. Luo, rest assured. Sometimes my luck is also pretty good. Ziyan slanted him a glance in displeasure. Just your little black hand, still dare to say your luck is very good? You might not even get a treasure, and instead draw a hard-to-complete mission of death. Bei Qinying's face paled. Suddenly he didn't dare to touch it. Su Luo smiled. No problem, just now I looked at it clearly. In total, there are 99 square boxes on this shelf. After you press this button to confirm, a corresponding number should appear here. Every number is matched to a prize. The worst prize is thank you for your patronage. These 5 words. Elder, is what I said correct? The last square had a slip of paper that said these 5 words. The last sentence Su Luo said was towards the white-bearded old grandpa who had his eyes narrowed, enjoying bathing in the sunlight. This old grandpa was too unprofessional, looked like a take-charge kind of person, but the result was that he didn't take care of anything. Just tossed it to them to ponder this for themselves. And then the old grandpa was half awake and half asleep as he lightly snorted these 2 words. But in his heart he secretly said this girl knows her stuff in one go. She had figured out the rules. In fact, how was the white-bearded old grandpa to know? Su Luo's soul had crossed over from the modern world. In the modern world, there were countless ways to draw prizes. Which one hadn't she seen before? The old grandpa's machine was simply child's play to her. Come, just push at random. Su Luo encouraged Bei Qining. Isn't it just 100 white stones? We have a lot more. Dong Fengxian's group silently glanced at Su Luo, then turned their face away in extreme anger. Still a lot more. A lot of the white stones were theirs, okay? Being generous to others through using their effort, and still so proud. But before they had lost face in front of Su Luo's forceful words, so these three people could only remain silent. At the same time, they prayed in their hearts. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Chapter 1629. There was treasure everywhere. 8. Bei Qining took a deep breath and approached the screen. Because of excitement, his fingers trembled slightly. You must by all means not draw a thank you for your patronage back, otherwise I'll slaughter you. Ziyan threatened at the critical juncture. Bei Qining was unconvinced. How do you speak? These 99 squares, even if I close my eyes, it's impossible for me to draw. Thank you for your patronage. You really think my luck would be bad to that degree? To draw thank you for your patronage was close to 1% chance. No matter what, Bei Qining didn't believe his luck would be that bad. Then let us wait and see. Ziyan was simply not optimistic about Bei Qining. Just wait and see. Bei Qining couldn't accept being looked down upon. Seeing the two fight like roosters, Su Luo smilingly shook her head. These two were a quarrelsome but loving couple. On the surface, it seemed as if they didn't see eye to eye, but in fact, they still were thoughtful for each other. Just when these thoughts continuously went through Su Luo's brain, Bei Qinying's hand had already pushed down the deciding button. Honk, honk, honk. The prize drawing machine gave a clear sound, immediately attracting everyone's attention. The numbers 1 to 99 rolled on the screen. Moreover, these numbers appeared without any kind of pattern or order to speak of. Even the most accurate calculations wouldn't be able to find a pattern. Now seeing those numbers, Bei Qining felt that his mind was about to explode. These numbers flashed by like lightning, so fast that he simply couldn't react. Now besides Nangong Luyan, everyone else all circled around the prize drawing machine, completely surrounding Bei Qining in the middle. You choose Seeing Bei Qining was slow and motionless, Ziyan anxiously urged in a loud voice. Okay, I know, don't have to urge Bei Qining waved his hand, and everyone all retreated a step. Then he closed his eyes and suddenly jabbed the decided button. Soon after, everyone sucked in a cold breath of air. Bei Qining, right now, nervously had his eyes closed. Hearing the sound of people sucking in a breath, his heart was scared, delighted and nervous. Everyone's reaction was so strong. This must be because he had drawn a super precious treasure. What is it? What is it? Bei Qining had his eyes closed, not daring to look. Afraid if he looked at the good thing, it would change into thank you for your patronage. Look for yourself. Ziyan unhappily rolled her eyes at him. Alas! Su Luo slowly sighed, silently patting Bei Qining on the shoulder. Bei Qinying's heart immediately fell from heaven to hell, momentarily accompanied by sorrow. He opened his eyes to look towards the prize drawing machine. Thank you for your patronage. Actually really was number 99. Thank you for your patronage. Bei Qining looked at his own right hand. Under the sunlight, this hand was pure white like jade. Such a good hand, how could it be a black hand? He couldn't accept it. Su Luo comforted him by patting the back of his hand. It's nothing, it's nothing. This is the first time, next time you will have the experience to get it. These words of comfort almost made Bei Qining cry. Drawing a prize wasn't like other things, still saying next time he'd have the experience? Was drawing prizes something that experience would help with? This all depended on luck. Luck. Thinking up to here, Bei Qining once again silently looked at his right hand. There are still more chances. In any case, we have plenty of white stones. Moreover, it was picked up for free and didn't spend a single cent. Su Luo very generously counted out 100 white stones and very easily cast it into the machine. Try again, I don't believe you still can draw. Thank you for your patronage again. What if I really draw it? Then what to do? Bei Qining wanted to cry but lacked the tears as he looked at Su Luo. All his confidence had been hit until it collapsed. Chapter 1630. There was treasure everywhere. 9. Then. You should properly go gather some moral character. Su Luo yielded her position, setting aside the best position in the middle for Bai Qining. The second time drawing a prize, Bai Qining was clearly even more nervous than the first time. Because the first time, the ignorant know no fear. Now with the pressure of the first times, thank you for your patronage, Bai Qinying's expression was clearly heavier the second time. Go go go. Ziyan waved a fist at him. And, having Ziyan's encouragement, Bai Qining seriously nodded, his confidence having been restored a bit. Bai Qining closed his eyes. He took a deep breath, then heavily pressed down on that confirm button. Honk honk honk, a familiar sound came from the prize drawing machine. It gave people a nervous and urgent feeling. Draw at will, only for an exceeding unlucky fool, otherwise you can't possible draw number 99. Ziyan said loudly to Bai Qining. At the same time, she encouragingly patted his shoulder. And, my luck can't be that bad. Bai Qinying's gaze focused on the screen. When number 99 flashed by, he suddenly pushed that button. Look, see how low Bai Qining, this fool's, requirement was. He only wanted to avoid the number 99. Any other number that was given to him would be good enough. What number? This time Bai Qining didn't close his eyes. He only turned his face away, not daring to look. He only looked at Ziyan's expression from the corner of his eyes. Pfft. Seeing the enlarged number that jumped out on the screen, Ziyan couldn't hold back and directly puffed out her laugher. Dang! After Su Luo saw the number of the screen, she felt very much surprised. In the end, what number? Ah! A very bad feeling suddenly rose in Bai Qinying's heart. His gaze quickly shot to the screen. Fuck. How was it still the number 99? Why was it still thank you for your patronage? Why was it like this? Were the heavens playing him? Bai Qining used both hands to hold his head. Depressed, he wanted to knock against a wall. He didn't even know when his luck had degenerated to this stage. Su Luo comforted him in a deadpan manner. It's nothing. This is what's called bad things can't happen 3 times. How about it, let's draw again. In any case, she still had a lot of white stones in her space. Just let Bai Qining waste it several times to give him more confidence. Bai Qining, just now, I said only for the exceedingly unlucky fool. I wasn't being sincere. How could I have imagined your luck would be so bad? Ah. Although Ziyan's words were trying to comfort, but it turned into another sharp sword, ruthlessly jabbing again in Bai Qinying's hurt. Ziyan, this girl, was clearly rejoicing in his misfortune. This time you go. Bai Qining humphed twice, pushed Ziyan to the side of the prize drawing machine, and said to Su Luo, do you still have some white stones? If you don't have it, I will call for it first as a debt. Why ask you to be in debt? Luo naturally will give me a chance to draw, right Luo? Ziyan didn't want to be in emotional debt to Bai Qining. The two of you guys really are a quarrelsome loving couple. Su Luo, resigned, selected 100 white stones from her space and tossed it into the machine. Who is a quarrelsome loving couple with her? Did you make a mistake? Bai Qining exaggeratedly made a fuss. Humph. Ziyan turned her face away in anger. I will definitely beat you. I won't draw thank you for your patronage. Only your kind of idiot would draw thank you for your patronage every day. Ziyan made a fist to encourage herself. Then wait and see. Bai Qining also wasn't convinced. He felt that the probability of drawing thank you for your patronage was very high. Don't know if it was deliberately set by the white-bearded old grandpa. Chapter 1631. Luck that defies nature. 1. Then that will depend on if you have this kind of luck or not. Bai Qinying's muttering clearly was waiting to watch Ziyan becoming a joke. Wait and see. Ziyan rolled her eyes at him, turned her body and efficiently pressed the start button. As a result, countless numbers very quickly rolled before Ziyan's eyes. These numbers didn't have any order, from 0 to 99. The numbers continuously changed. Even if someone wanted to predict it, it would be difficult. Can only stake on a person's character. Su Luo spread out her hands towards Ziyan. Luo, your hand. Ziyan extended her right hand to Su Luo. Su Luo felt this was ridiculous, and helplessly shook her head. Then she extended her right hand and linked it together with Ziyan's, and laughingly said, "Must you be so superstitious? You don't need to say it, you can't not believe in it. In fact, it's just that strange." After Ziyan's hand rubbed Su Luo's little red hand, after with a pow sound, she directly pushed down the stop button. Whoosh, the continuously flickering numbers stopped. Number 77. Number 77. Ziyan wasn't like Bei Qining, who didn't dare look, so she immediately saw the result of her draw. When she saw the number 77, she immediately jumped up to cheer repeatedly. "Wow, wow, wow. Luo Luo, your little red hand is too cute. Boohoo. Love it to death." Ziyan expressed her mood outwardly. She was endlessly excited. Su Luo also felt very surprised. She didn't expect that after Bei Qinying's twice in a row of bad luck, things would change for the better for Ziyan. Su Luo lowered her head to look at her own hand. This little hand wasn't really the legendary little red hand, right? Only now did Ziyan's gaze sweep to the dumbfounded Bei Qining on the side. Ziyan, in a very big sister-like manner, patted the lifeless Bei Qining. Proudly, she said with eyes full of spirit, "How about it? Convinced now?" Bei Qinying's pitch-black eyes silently looked at her, then turned his face away. In his heart he irritably roasted. "Horse's tail, he got thank you for your patronage twice. Horse's hair, horse's hair, horse's hair." The gods were really too unfair. But when his head turned back, it was full of a faint smile. "Number 77 ah. Don't know what kind of stuff is number 77. Maybe it's not much better than thank you for your patronage. Bei Qining, you just continue to be jealous." Ziyan complacently walked to the front of that shelf. She mumbled, "Number 77, what kind of thing will number 77 be? Number 77 is here." Ziyan's eyes lit up, so excited that she almost pounced up. PFFF. Seeing the thing in box number 77, Bei Qining couldn't hold back and directly spurted out a laugh. Soon after, he proudly looked at Ziyan. "It seems your luck isn't that good either." Number 77, Grandmaster Level Spirit Restoration Pill. Seeing this medicinal pill, Ziyan's expression was complicated. Originally speaking, a Grandmaster Level Spirit Restoration Pill was a very rare medicinal pill. If Ziyan saw it before, she would be extremely excited. But now, she was stunned foolish by Su Luo once in a while tossing out a Emperor-level medicinal pill. So this Grandmaster-level Spirit Restoration Pill already couldn't invoke Ziyan's excitement. Grandmaster-level Spirit Restoration Pill is very good ah. I'm very satisfied. Ziyan forced herself to catch that Grandmaster-level Spirit Restoration Pill that automatically popped out of a mysterious ice fog. Bei Qining had both hands on his hips as he howled with laughter on the side. He had a feeling of winning back a game. Su Luo unhappily slanted a glance at him, coldly tossing out a sentence. "Looks like in the future, little Shadow won't need to take medicinal pills from me." Bei Qining, hearing this, his face changed faster than the sky. Immediately, he headed towards Su Luo in a kissing-up manner. Chapter 1632. Luck that defied nature, too. Stop. Su Luo waved her hand hinting for them to stop. Following, she walked over to draw a prize. "Luo Luo, draw a great prize. You guys look carefully." Ziyan waved her fist to encourage Su Luo. Just now she borrowed Su Luo's luck, and didn't she draw a reward? Now Su Luo personally went to battle. How could it be worse than her? This was absolutely impossible. Therefore Ziyan had full confidence in Su Luo, with firm incomparable faith. Dongfang Xian stood behind Su Luo. The gaze they used to look at her was full of envy and resentment. Based on their estimate, Su Luo had enough hidden-eyed purple spiders to draw at least 20 times. And based on her luck, wouldn't all the treasures be drawn by her? The more they thought of this, the more jealous they became and the uglier their expressions were. "Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage." After Su Luo pressed the button to begin, these three people silently mouthed these words, as if like this, they could disrupt Su Luo's luck. Bang! Su Luo pressed down on the stop key. How is it, let me see." Ziyan moved to the front, and she stared tightly at those slowly stopping numbers. 75, 62, 87, about to stop, about to stop. 99. When it finally settled, this nightmare number of 99 appeared. Not only Su Luo, but the rest of the people were also stunned. Soon after, a burst of uproarious laughter came from among the crowd. This sound came from the three people behind Su Luo. Ouch! Thought you had a lot of luck, isn't it? Just thank you for your patronage. That's right. Look at your posture. Thought you had gotten a pair of purple wings. Even getting a high-level martial arts is considered getting rich too, but the result actually was, hee. That's to say, to covet other people's things will bring retribution. These three normally would be considered to have a proud and icily arrogant temper, but now, they were the embodiment of gossipy woman, grumbling and speaking there nonstop. Ziyin couldn't endure listening to it anymore with both hands at her hips. She fiercely and coldly glared at them. Hey, are you guys finished? Isn't it just thank you for your patronage? What's to be concerned about? We have plenty of white stones. If we didn't draw anything, then we'll draw again. Unlike you three, besides taunting other people, if you guys have the ability, then come up and draw. Three grown men, ordinarily with aloof and remote expressions, really didn't expect to be so petty. Simply too ridiculous. Ziyan's words showered down on them, almost choking those three to death. Dongfangxian very fiercely glared at Ziyan. This stinky girl that ate inside and kissed up to outsiders. Before she was still afraid of him, but now getting together with Su Luo, her courage had grown very fat. Su Luo looked at the number 99 and was depressed for a bit. But she wasn't discouraged soon, after she placed another 100 white stones inside. Wait until the stop button was pushed. It's 99 again. Dongfangxian immediately laughed. Ha, just this luck just now. Who said this was a little red hand? Isn't that an insult to little red hand? Ziyan coldly glared at Dongfangxian, then comforted Su Luo. No big deal, no big deal. Bad things won't happen 3 times in a row. In any case, we have plenty of white stones. Because Bei Chening found another person at the bottom, he became happier. As a result, he also entered the ranks to comfort Su Luo. You see, didn't I also draw thank you for your patronage 2 times in a row? Rest assured this 3rd time, you definitely won't lose. Bei Chening was also secretly doubtful. Hadn't Luo Luo's luck always been too good? How was it that now it wasn't reliable? Chapter 1633. Luck that defied nature. 3. Su Luo grabbed her hair from being depressed. Looking towards Nangong Luyuan with a requesting for help gaze. Nangong Luyuan's handsome face spread out into a gentle smile as warm as sunlight. In a soft and kind voice he said, "Continue to draw, in any case we have the spiders." The implication being that as long as Su Luo liked it, he would unconditionally help her go kill the hidden-eyed purple spiders to get the white stones and let her draw prizes for fun. With Nangong Luyuan's encouragement, Su Luo's confidence immediately increased by a lot. She rubbed her hand as if she wanted to rub off all the bad luck on it. Soon after, Su Luo's eyes closed and suddenly pressed the stop button. What did I draw? Su Luo discovered that it was quiet all around her, and asked with some unease. Hiccup. Ziyan mumbled, unable to say anything. Alas! Bei Chening slowly sighed and didn't have the heart to look at Su Luo again. PFF haha. Dongfangxian laughed louder than anyone else. His tone revealed an endless elation. Su Luo's heart sank, and she gloomily opened her eyes. As expected, on the screen, the number 99 strikingly appeared in her eyes, flickering with endless mockery and poking fun at her. Oh, really thought your luck was really good, drawing thank you for your patronage 3 times in a row. Ha 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 ha. Luo Haoming and Li Aochen exchanged a glance. Then the two of them burst out into loud laughter. Snatched our white stones. Looks like this is heaven's retribution to you. Dongfangxian's ruthless gaze stared at Su Luo. A sinister and cold light flashed in his eyes. Really? I just don't believe it. Su Luo coldly smiled, following which her hand lifted, and a white light flashed by. One only heard the ding-dong sound resonating endlessly. Originally, Su Luo had tossed a majority of the white stones she had into the prize-drawing machine. This time she decided to gamble big. No matter how many times you draw, it's useless. Dongfang Xian repeatedly sneered, his eyes flickering with a mockingly cold light. Really? Then try it and see. Su Luo hedged. At least I still have hope. You guys don't even have hope. Hearing this, Dongfang Xian was so enraged that smoke almost came out of all 7 orifices on his face. Su Luo coldly retracted her gaze and turned all her concentration to the prize drawing machine in front, drawing 3 times in a row and getting nothing. This made Su Luo, whose luck had always defied nature, doubt herself in her heart. Fortunately, her temperament had always been tough. She thought a bit of it and then it passed. Very quickly, she was full of confidence and in high spirits again. But don't know if it was because this time, Su Luo offended the gods, or if the gods were too busy playing mahjong and didn't have time to look after her. In any case, the Su Luo at this moment could be described as completely out of luck. Ding, a noise came from the prize drawing machine. It's thank you for your patronage again. Ha 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 ha. Dongfang Xian held his belly, laughing until he almost fell to the ground and rolled about. Ding, another sound echoed. This indicated that Su Luo pushed the stop button once again. PFFF, ha 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 ha. Actually another thank you for your patronage. My god, you, this elder is simply too cute. Dongfang Xian was so excited that he almost kneeled. How could the gods be so cute? He hated that he wasn't sensible when young. At that time, he pointed at the heavens and cursed out the gods he had really offended. Ding. Su Luo angrily slapped her palm down. As a result, the number came out once again. Thank you for your patronage. Ha 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 ha. Dongfang Xian exploded out ecstatically. He almost rolled on the ground from laughter. There are still the last 3 chances. Nangong Luyan smiled and patted Su Luo on the shoulder. It's nothing, continue. And Su Luo took a deep breath and ordered herself to calm down. Chapter 1634. Marvelous Counterattack. 1. These white stones were merely picked up from the side of the road. Able to get a price was best, but there was no loss from not getting a price. So she simply didn't need to worry so much about gains and losses. Thinking up to here, Su Luo glared in annoyance at Dongfang Xian, who was laughing like a lunatic. Then, she once again started to draw the last 3 chances, due to more than 10 times before when she failed. So, everyone used a complicated expression to look at Su Luo. Ziyan and Bei Chening maintained their full of sympathy and consoling expression. But Dongfang Xian's group was definitely taking joy in others' misfortunes, sneering and mocking. There are only the last 3 chances. You still think it's possible? Dongfang Xian cast sideways glances at Su Luo from a high vantage point. His chin was lifted high, disdainfully sneering viciously. Whether it's possible for me or not, what does it have to do with you? You are merely an observer. Really have the nerve to criticize the main master? Su Luo gave a disdainful snort and returned his glare, full of vigor. Dongfang Xian was choked off again. Want to make a bet? I bet this time you still won't draw anything. What? Do you dare to bet? Dongfang Xian proudly fished out a purple crystal stone and placed it in front of Su Luo. If you win, this purple crystal will belong to you. How about it? Purple crystal stones had a huge attractiveness to Su Luo, because once you reach 9th and 10th level, ordinary crystal stones didn't have enough spirit force for them to use. So they needed this kind of superior crystal stones. A pity that purple-colored crystal stones were extremely rare in this world. Very few were ever seen. What about after? Su Luo's eyes half narrowed, acting as if she was seriously considering it as she cast him a glance. If you lose, then give me the last 2 chances. Dongfang Xian's tone was cold, not allowing any disagreement. How about it? Dare to bet or not? Faced with Dongfang Xian's passive-aggressive way of getting what he wanted, Su Luo smiled faintly. Since you want to deliver this purple-colored crystal stone to this lady, if I don't accept it, then it'll be a waste. Really big tone. Just afraid you will suffer a double loss. Oh. Dongfang Xian coldly laughed repeatedly. Just your kind of bad luck. Giving you the last remaining 3 chances is a waste. It's better to step aside and give me the chances. Then just wait and see. The corner of Su Luo's mouth hooked up slightly. Luo. Ziyan pulled at Su Luo's sleeve, her expression somewhat hesitant. Really want to bet, ah? Hearing this, Su Luo smiled. Could this be faked? Do you need me to try it for you? Ziyin thoroughly lacked confidence in Su Luo's luck today. More than 10 times black hand in a row. This probability was lower than the 18th hell. How could she bet with Dongfang Xian? Let me try it first. In any case, even if I lose, there's no damage. Su Luo's smile was full of confidence. As a result, under everyone's gaze, Su Luo closed her eyes. Numbers continuously appeared in her mind. Suddenly, Su Luo's finger moved slightly. Honk sounded out. Then the prize drawing stopped. 89 56 34. 12. Wow, it stopped, it stopped. It's number 12. Ziyin excitedly shrieked. So excited that she almost jumped. Bei Chening was also excited. Hey, things have changed for the better, Luo Luo. This time, it finally wasn't thank you for your patronage. Now Dongfang Xian's face changed between a burst of red then white. Not long after, it became blue-green. In short, it changed erratically so people couldn't figure out the pattern. Su Luo, smiling happily, took a glance at him. Soon after, as if it was proper, she took that purple-colored crystal stone. Then she carelessly asked, "Still want to bet?" When Su Luo said these 3 words, her tone was very annoying. She used that kind of looking down in schadenfreude tone. Hearing it would make a person's heart felt provoked. Chapter 1635, Marvelous Counterattack. 2. Bet. I don't believe your luck can really change. Dongfang Xian smashed out another purple-colored crystal stone. These purple-colored crystal stones were ones Dongfang Xian had saved to use for cultivating. In fact, he didn't have that many in hand. Only not long before he had a fortuitous encounter, and found 5 pieces in an obscure cave. If I lose? Su Luo's mouth hooked up as she unhurriedly asked. If you lose, then return that crystal stone to me from just now. Dongfang Xian's flesh still hurt from having that purple-colored crystal stone being taken. Purple crystal stone. Bet for a purple crystal stone. This is very fair. Fine, I agree to this bet. But now, let us have a look at what treasure number 12 corresponds to. Finished speaking, Su Luo turned her head to look at the shelf. Seeing that Su Luo and Dongfang Xian had agreed to a bet, Ziyin had already excitedly and smugly ran over to see the prize this number would match to. Number 12 is image crystal ball. Ziyin pointed at the transparent colored crystal ball inside the mysterious ice fog. She turned her head in puzzlement to look at Su Luo. What kind of thing is an image crystal ball? How was it that she had never heard of it? Su Luo extended both hands in, and carefully took out that transparent crystal ball. This crystal ball was drawn by her, so at this time, Su Luo's hand could go through the mysterious ice fog to personally take out the crystal ball. If this was changed to another person, it was definitely not possible. This crystal ball was the size of 2 fists, transparent and pure, giving off jade-like light. It had a radiance that warmed and touched a person's heart. But Su Luo looked right, then left, and still couldn't see through its profound mystery. In the end, she could only shake her head. I also don't know. Put your spirit force inside. Half laying on the chair resting, the white-bearded old grandpa finally said something at this time. At this moment, everyone's gaze looked towards the image crystal ball in Su Luo's hand. Su Luo thought a bit and decided it's best to release it and have a look. A gentle spirit force slowly entered the crystal ball. The originally white-colored crystal ball was like a television that was just turned on. And gradually, a scene appeared. The whole sky was filled with jasper flowers that floated about as, one after another, they floated to the floor. Under the jasper flower tree, 2 experts held precious swords as they danced under the moonlight. Those 2 faintly discernible bodies, that long wonderful shadows. The speed of the sword moves were quick as demons. There were also those movements that flitted by in a blink of an eye, shocking Su Luo endlessly. Oh heavens! This sword method, this figure, this is no doubt the legendary Honorable Ling Mei. Luo Haoming shrieked. Honorable Ling Mei was once a strong expert at the summit of the saint rank. But several hundred years ago, he disappeared from this world. No one had seen his figure since then. Now his figure appeared on the image crystal ball. This is the legendary phantom footsteps. Dongfengxian was so startled that his eyes almost fell out. The passing down of phantom footsteps had been lost long ago. Didn't expect it was still engraved inside this crystal ball. This treasure is too hard to come by. Luo Haoming repeatedly cried out in surprise. His pair of eyes stared fixedly at Su Luo. No one expected that a martial arts that had been lost for so long would so simply appear like this. Moreover, it appeared in the way of being a recorded image. Just what kind of amazing luck did this loathsome girl Su Luo have? Su Luo, what will it take for you to hand over the phantom footsteps? Li Aochen impatiently questioned forcefully. This footwork was very suitable with his martial arts. If he cultivated the phantom footwork, he believed his strength would be restored to its peak in a short time. I'll take out 2 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones. Dongfengxian directly started to call out a price. I'll take out 3 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones. Luo Haoming was not to be outdone. As long as he got the phantom footwork, then his speed would reach the boundary of teleport. He could almost walk alone all over the world. Which person wouldn't want to? Chapter 1636, Marvelous Counterattack 3. I'll take out 5 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones. Li Aochen yelled loudly. Dongfengxian angrily slanted a glance at Li Aochen. Immediately, he loudly yelled again. I'll take out 6 pieces. 7 pieces. 10 pieces. Momentarily, the situation was very lively, and Su Luo, who held the phantom footwork in her palms, was puzzled and asked Nangong Luyin at her side. Is phantom footsteps really this valuable? I heard that after cultivating its essence, a person's speed would be almost as fast as teleport. Nangong Luyin replied practically. Oh, teleport ah? This wasn't very attractive to Su Luo, because she knew how to teleport. This was the fusion of space laws and spirit dance steps that turned into real teleport. Su Luo, in the end, how many pieces of purple-colored crystal stones would you be willing to sell it for? Dongfengxian angrily asked. He really needed this martial arts. His cultivation had been at a bottleneck for a long time. He only needed a little bit of an opportunity before he could break through. But Su Luo only sent a faint glance at him, indifferently saying a sentence. Sell? Why should I sell it? At the same time, Su Luo stopped pouring her spirit force into the crystal ball. This crystal ball then slowly turned dark, finally restoring to its original state. Dongfengxian was angered half to death. They were arguing, bidding, striving for it until they were flushed with excitement. The result was that the owner said a sentence that she wasn't selling it. Really made them feel sullen to death. Luo Haoming and Li Aochen were also suffocating in anger. They glared at Su Luo, panting in a rage. Su Luo's gaze swept by Bai Qining and Ziyin. She and Nangong Luyin both didn't have a problem with speed. So they simply didn't need this phantom footsteps. But Bai Qining and Ziyin just so happened to need this. Then who should she give this to? In the end, Su Luo still decided to give it to Ziyin. You are really giving it to me? Ziyin gazed at Su Luo in disbelief. So excited that her fingers trembled slightly. Of course I'm giving it to you. Otherwise, don't tell me I need to sell it. Su Luo unhappily patted her jade-like white hands. As for you, put it away carefully and slowly study it. By all means, don't let others snatch it away. And Ziyin seriously nodded, in a treasuring manner. She put it into her space bag. Dongfengxian's group was all stupefied from watching. Was this a mistake? Su Luo, this loathsome girl, wouldn't sell it for the heavenly price of 10 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones. But in the end, she carelessly gave it to Ziyin. Had Su Luo's brain been smashed by a door? Dongfengxian tried to endure and in the end couldn't, so he tauntingly said, Loathsome girl, you think that phantom footsteps is like a Chinese cabbage? To so carelessly gift it to someone, you are simply the #1 spendthrift in the world. Su Luo calmly and unhurriedly glanced at him. My stuff who I want to give it to, is who I can give to. Who are you Sir, aren't you too widely controlling things? I'm just reminding you in case you regret it later. Dongfengxian was extremely unreconciled. Isn't it just phantom footsteps What's so amazing about it? My master has a lot at his place. Su Luo gave a light snort. Dongfang Xian sent an angry glare at Su Luo. There was mad jealousy in his eyes. As Grandmaster Rong Yun's disciple, was the happiest person in the world. There was no other that could compare. Don't need to say how powerful, two-faced, partial and overprotective Grandmaster Rong Yun, as an emperor-level apothecary. As his disciple, not only could she get emperor-level medical pills and eat it as if they were just candy, in addition, Grandmaster Rong Yun's custom of exchanging treatment for illness with martial arts books, the number of martial arts in his hands must be too numerous to count. Su Luo, as his most beloved last disciple, naturally would let her choose at will. In contrast to this, although the master of Purgatory City's strength was similarly strong, but he had a lot of disciples under him. How could their treatment be compared to Su Luo's treatment? Thinking of this, Dongfang Xian almost went crazy from being jealous of Su Luo. Chapter 1637. Marvelous Counterattack 4. Ziyan made a face at the ashen-faced Dongfang Xian. Soon after, she started to help massage and knead Su Luo's shoulders. Tired? How about you rest a bit then draw again? That won't do now, my luck just so happens to be good. Who knows if my luck will run out after a rest, right? Su Luo smiled in a half-joking manner. Besides, I already agreed with Dongfang Xian's bet. It's best to complete it as early as possible. Saying this, Su Luo once again returned to the prize-drawing machine. Do you want to change the bet? Su Luo gave Dongfang Xian a final chance to change. If you lose, I don't want your crystal stone. Just give me the last chance to draw a prize. Dongfang Xian, sure enough, was Dongfang Xian. Now he really did change his mind. Okay. Su Luo agreed. As a result, Su Luo started to draw again. Dongfang Xian stared fixedly at her hand. He unblinkingly stared at her, as if he could use his thoughts to affect the results of Su Luo's prize-drawing attempt. Su Luo unhurriedly glanced at him, the corner of her mouth hooking into a faint sneer. Finally, she pushed the stop button. The speed of the rolling numbers gradually slowed down. In the end, it stopped at the number 7. Number 7. Ziyan and Beichening cried out in excitement. They almost tightly embraced each other. Luo Luo won. Ha 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 ha. Not only is it the number 7, she also got a purple-colored crystal stone. Really great. Ziyan cheered loudly, and she even applauded enthusiastically. In contrast, Dongfang Xian's face looked like it had been fiercely slapped by someone. A burst of green and a burst of red. Embarrassed and wrathful. Dongfang Xian, this piece of purple-colored crystal stone, this person will kindly accept. Su Luo raised an eyebrow. Then, she rightfully put away the purple-colored crystal stone that Dongfang Xian had taken out. The bet she won. Naturally she would put it away confidently. Number 7, come, let us have a look. What kind of treasure is the legendary number 7? Ziyan happily skipped over to the shelf as she mumbled this. Here. Suddenly, her eyes lit up as she pointed excitedly at a place near the center. What is it? Su Luo walked forward and carefully examined it. It seems to be a piece of jade. Su Luo's expression was like water as she faintly said. But her heart suddenly lit up. At that time, the venerable divine dragon had given her a piece of jade. After finding it was engraved with the great dimensional imprint, by now, she had finished learning all 3 levels and mastered all its secrets thoroughly. That was to say, at that time, the piece of jade the venerable divine dragon gave her was now not of much use to her. Of course, she had already finished studying it, so Su Luo believed that as long as she pinched the jade piece into powder, the venerable divine dragon would appear. Now this jade piece laid still in Su Luo's hand. It had a penetrating green color, seemingly full of water. Just such a simple piece of jade? Dongfang Xian disdainfully sneered. Su Luo was not affected by him. She put a thread of her spirit power inside. Because when Su Luo held this jade piece in her hand, she discovered that this jade piece was definitely not that simple. In the wake of that thread of spirit force going in, soon after, a delighted expression flashed through Su Luo's eyes. Oh heavens! Before, the more than 10 times of bad luck, could it have existed just so she could reap the current rewards? If it was really like this, then Su Luo was really thankful to the gods. First half of Light Element Law. Ever since Su Luo activated her light element, she had run over to ask for a book of martial arts on it from Master. But Master told her that he did indeed have light element martial arts, but only the middle book. He didn't have the first half that taught the foundation. Chapter 1638. Marvelous Counterattack. 5. Without the first part, what's the use of having only the middle part? So Su Luo had a just give it a try attitude this time when entering the secret roaming dragon territory. But she never expected that it had just begun and her luck was full to bursting, drawing the first part of the light element martial arts. It seemed the gods really were looking after her. In this world, because the light element had gradually declined until it disappeared, therefore, almost no martial arts on it was left behind. Su Luo being able to get the first part of the light martial arts, this was a very fortunate matter. Su Luo's expression was as peaceful as water, calmly putting away the jade piece. It's not good. Ziyan asked in a low voice, because Su Luo's expression seemed very normal. Also, not bad. Su Luo reluctantly nodded, as if making herself maintain this expression. Dongfang Xian burst out into loud laughter. Looks like it's not something good, then don't force yourself, is that fun? Even if it's the most common jade piece, what does it have to do with you? Can you control it? Su Luo gave a cold snort. Dongfang Xian gave a cold snort. Only the last chance remains, do you still dare to bet? He had lost twice in a row. This made Dongfang Xian's bull-headed temperament appear. What do you want to bet on? I'll accompany you to the end. Su Luo very proudly raised an eyebrow. Dongfang Xian saw Su Luo agree so straightforwardly, and he couldn't help but to stare. Suddenly, a light flashed through his eyes. I will give you 3 pieces of purple-colored stones for you to sell me the last chance to draw a prize, how about it? 3 pieces of purple-colored stones. Hearing this, Su Luo's eyes lit up in an instant. 3 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones weren't a small number. Because this was purple-colored and not green, blue, cyan, those kind of colors. Last time, during the roaming dragon list competition, Su Luo got a pile of green-colored crystal stones. But the spirit force contained inside was far from enough to catch up to her cultivation speed. 3 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones, ah. Su Luo stroked her chin, half muttering to herself. I only have 5 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones. Before, you won away 2 pieces, now I only have 3 pieces left. If you want to increase the price, sorry, I don't have it. Dongfang Xian was very blunt and decisive. Su Luo's gaze swept the things on the shelf. The value of those things on it might not be able to be compared to purple-colored crystal stones. After thinking about it, Su Luo then nodded her agreement. Seeing that Su Luo had agreed, Dongfang Xian released a breath of relief. As a result, Su Luo put away those 3 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones. Soon after, he let Dongfang Xian have the last chance to draw. Dongfang Xian stood in the centermost position. Li Aochen and Luo Haoming were at his side. Without knowing, these 3, whose relationship wasn't that good, had now already become a group. It's proper. Su Luo, this side of 4 people, was a little group. If they didn't become a group, they certainly wouldn't win things when striving with Su Luo's group. This kind of result would certainly happen. Luo Haoming and Li Aochen both looked enviously at Dongfang Xian. If they also had purple-colored crystal stones in hand, they would certainly buy a chance to draw from Su Luo. At this moment, Dongfang Xian sat up straight and still. His expression was serious as he looked ahead. The first time playing draw a prize game. Moreover, it was a precious opportunity exchanged with 3 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones. Now his mood had a thread of excitement. Dongfang Xian took a deep breath, then slowly pressed the start button. As a result, countless numbers rolled by lightning fast on the screen. Speed so fast that they passed in the blink of an eye, making it impossible for people to find a pattern. One could only rely on their own luck. Now the numbers rolled by in circles, but Dongfang Xian still remained aloof. Everyone all watched this quietly on the side. No one uttered a sound to disturb this. Because after all, this was exchanged from 3 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones, ah. If some mishap was to happen, no one could afford to take the responsibility. Chapter 1639. Marvelous Counterattack. 6. Suddenly, Dong Fengxian's hand moved. One only saw the shadow of his hand flash by, and the number on the screen started to slow down. 8, 16, 75, 30. The numbers slowly slowed down. In the end, it was almost about to stop at number 1. Can't be right? How could Dong Fengxian's luck be so good? The preciousness of the treasures here were arranged in order. The closer the number was to the front, meant the more precious the treasure would be. If Dong Fengxian got number 1. Su Luo felt some faint regret because this was a chance she gave Dong Fengxian. Now Dong Fengxian was already howling with laughter. He provocatively and proudly glanced at Su Luo, eyes full of contempt and ridicule. The smile at the corner of Dong Fengxian's mouth enlarged wantonly, brilliant like the sunlight. He was so excited that he almost jumped up, because number 1 just so happened to be the treasure he wanted the most. But before his body could jump up, it had already stiffened on the seat, because number 1 slowly rolled by. In the end, the number that came out was 69. PFF. Ziyan couldn't hold back and laughed out loud. Su Luo slowly let out a breath of relief. Fortunately, it's not number 1, otherwise, she had really helped the tyrant in his oppression. If Dong Fengxian got the treasure for number 1, then she was better off committing suicide and forgetting about it. Now Dong Fengxian foolishly stood there, his expression ashen. His gaze sinisterly and vengefully glared at that screen, exploding out in a bloodthirsty light. Falling from heaven to hell must be like this. Su Luo thought this secretly in her heart. Number 69 seems to be a piece of purple-colored crystal stone. Oh. Ziyan said in a schadenfreude manner. Dong Fengxian used 3 pieces of purple-colored stones to exchange with Su Luo for a chance to draw a prize. The result was that he barely drew 1 purple-colored crystal stone. This was far from a return of his original investment. Hateful. Dong Fengxian's fist heavily hit towards the prize-drawing machine. Su Luo's expression changed slightly. If the prize-drawing machine was smashed, the consequences would be very serious. But the matter that was outside of Su Luo's expectation was that when Dong Fengxian's fist smashed down, a warm light seemed to reflect back from that thin screen. Dong Fengxian's fist was directly bounced back. At the same time, Dong Fengxian's figure retreated back with thump-thump sounds. It was only after retreating 7 to 8 steps was he able to stop with great difficulty. Dong Fengxian sucked in a large mouthful of air. His forehead was covered with fine beads of sweat that were rolling down right now. From this, it could be seen how much destructive force was in that bounce back from the screen to Dong Fengxian. Dong Fengxian recalled that here was the secret roaming dragon territory. His original angry mood vanished very quickly. He respectfully cupped his hand towards the white-bearded old grandpa. This boy just now was too hot-headed, asking the elder to please forgive me. The white-bearded old grandpa seemed to have sunk into a deep sleep, simply ignored him. He even started to lightly snore. Su Luo pursed her lips and smiled. Only when Dong Fengxian reported his crime did this white-bearded old grandpa snore. Wasn't this done too obviously? But who told Dong Fengxian not to handle matters well in her eyes? Su Luo had no intention of helping him to beg for leniency. This time's prize drawing, Su Luo could be said to have returned from a rewarding journey. Not even mentioning the 5 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones she cheated out of Dong Fengxian's hand. This time, she also gave Ziyan the image crystal ball, and got the first half of the light element law. This time, inside the secret roaming dragon territory. Even if later she didn't get any other treasures, having just these 2 was already worth it. But at this moment, Bei Qinying's entire person seemed to be stuck to the metal shelf. No matter what, they couldn't pull him away. With great difficulty, Su Luo finally pulled him away. He still would look back 3 times for every step he took. Chapter 1640. Marvelous Counterattack. 7. Suddenly, an idea flashed through Su Luo's mind. She turned her head to ask the white-bearded old grandpa. Elder grandpa, do you have set hours for when this shop opens? After we get more white stones, can we still come and exchange them with you? Before, they were misled by the white-bearded old grandpa's words. Everyone thought this was the only chance. But Su Luo felt that maybe, it's not as simple as that. Su Luo thought that maybe this white-bearded old grandpa was like the NPC in online games. He had specific sentences that would trigger a hidden mission. No one expected that this question by Su Luo really hit the point. The white-bearded old grandpa didn't open his eyes but opened his mouth to speak. In the grove on the east side, there are still 3 days left. Quickly go and quickly return. Such simple several words, time, place and mission were all summarized in it. Okay, then you should sleep well. Su Luo smiled sweetly, and quickly went with everyone towards the grove on the east side. But at this time Dongfang Xian's group of people exchanged a glance. Afterwards, they used their fastest martial arts to go to the grove on the east side. Before, how was it that I didn't know that first senior brother was so shameless? Ziyan had both hands on her hips, saying in a spitting rage. The first senior brother from before was aloof, remotely cold and indifferent. Just like a god in heaven. Now his image has all been destroyed, completely gone. Su Luo heard this and couldn't help but laugh. Dongfang Xian entered the door much earlier, so his age was older than them. Among the several fellow apprentices, he was a transcendent existence. Now there was a conflict of interest, naturally his inherent nature would be exposed. Forget it. Even if they run fast, but luck is on our side. What's the use of them running fast? Su Luo recalled Dongfang Xian suffering a double loss after trying to trick the enemy. He lost all 5 pieces of purple-colored crystal stones to her. She was inevitably somewhat proud of herself. Like Su Luo said, when Dongfang Xian's group ran to the grove on the east side, they looked around in a circle and couldn't find a single hidden-eyed purple spider. You guys continue to look over here. Dongfang Xian assigned Luo Haoming and Li Aochen a task. He turned and was about to leave. Where are you going? Luo Haoming and Li Aochen weren't fools. Both stood in front of Dongfang Xian, blocking his way out. This group that ran around because of benefit was very weak. It could be said that they didn't have any trust. I'm going to the original place to have a look. Dongfang Xian used cold eyes to look at the 2 people in front of him. Could it be you guys think I would hide things from myself? This is hard to say. The corner of Li Aochen's mouth hooked up slightly with a ghost of a smile. Dongfang Xian very fiercely glared at Li Aochen. Since it's already like this, then you guys can come with me. If a large quantity of hidden-eye purple spiders appear here, and Su Luo picked up this chance for cheap, see how regretful you guys will be. Finished speaking, Dongfang Xian flung his sleeves and left. Li Aochen and Luo Haoming exchanged a glance. Momentarily didn't know what to select. Just now, the white-bearded old grandpa had indeed said the grove on the east side. But they came quickly, they had already searched the surroundings and didn't find anything. Could it be that what the white-bearded old grandpa said was false? While the 2 of them were muttering to themselves, Dongfang Xian had run until his shadow had vanished. First, let us remain behind and watch what Su Luo's group does. Don't know why, but subconsciously Luo Haoming had more confidence in Su Luo than Dongfang Xian. As a result, the 2 reclined on top of a branch. Waited and waited, but waited for a long time and didn't see Su Luo's group. The 2 exchanged a glance and found that the situation felt more and more wrong. As a result, they followed the original road and returned. Chapter 1641. Marvelous Counterattack. 8. What was the reason why Su Luo's group hadn't arrived at the little grove? It was because Nangong Luoyan told Su Luo. Hidden-eyed purple spiders like sunlight. Now it was already afternoon. The sun had gradually shifted to the west, so most of the hidden-eyed purple spiders would be on the west side. They couldn't possibly be gathered at the grove on the east side. Su Luo would never doubt Nangong Luoyan's words. Therefore, their group of people majestically walked towards the west. So they didn't know about the temporary divide that had occurred among Dongfang Xian's group. Moreover, Luo Haoming had such confidence in her, so was waiting for her in place. Su Luo's group quickly reached the west side. If the east side could be considered a grove full of luxuriant lush greens, then the west was an endless desert. Seeing the rolling yellow sand in front of her eyes, Ziyan placed both hands at her hips. The corner of her lips speechlessly twitched, and looked towards Nangong Luoyan. 3rd senior brother, you are sure there will be hidden-eyed purple spiders here? Su Luo also stuck out her tongue. A bit doubtful. Nangong Luyan smiled faintly, don't know how he moved, but one only saw his finger lift, and a hand seal smashed towards the right side like lightning. One only heard a burst of crashing sounds, and the sandy soil was rolled up by the wind. It revealed a whole nest of hidden-eyed purple spiders. Wow! So many hidden-eyed purple spiders. Estimated there are 100 of them. Quickly kill Ziyan was so excited that saliva almost flowed out. In Ziyan's eyes, these weren't some dirty and extremely ugly spiders. Rather, they were shiny white stones that could be exchanged for chances to draw treasures. Ziyan was like a bullet as she shot towards the circle of hidden-eyed purple spiders. Very quickly, she was buried among the densely packed hidden-eyed purple spiders. This stupid woman. The hidden-eyed purple spiders are at least 7th rank. To rush in like this is seeking death. Bai Qining resentfully complained, but he still automatically rushed up to fight shoulder to shoulder with her. Su Luo and Nangong Luyan also immediately made their moves. Because it wasn't just their group that was here. Wait until Dongfeng Xian's group knew they were misled by the white-bearded old grandpa, and come over to find them. This advantage would then be taken over by them. In the future, if they wanted to find such a large nest, it would certainly be hard. Therefore this time, Nangong Luyan didn't hold back. A countless number of balls of lightning exploded toward the hidden-eyed purple spiders. The pitiful hidden-eyed purple spiders. They didn't know if it was their entire family, or they were just gathered for a party. Just like this, their whole nest was destroyed by Su Luo's group. In less than one stick of incense's time, with big and small, a total of 90 hidden-eyed purple spiders laid on the ground. Su Luo released a column of fire, and very quickly, the group was full of bright white stones. Luo quickly put it away. Ziyan urged Su Luo, when drawing prizes, this gives me a chance to fully satisfy my cravings. That's right, that's right. In the end, your luck is the best. Bai Qining expressed his agreement. They had unconditional trust in Su Luo. Because they knew, if there were treasures suited for them, Su Luo would definitely save it for them. Just like before, when Su Luo gave that crystal ball to Ziyan, she was a worthy teammate they could hand their backs to. They had complete trust in each other. Su Luo smilingly nodded, waved her hand, and got all 90 pieces of crystal stones. If we can find piles and piles of hidden-eyed purple spiders in the future, it would be good. Su Luo looked at the scattered several hidden-eyed purple spiders. She didn't have the interest to go chase and kill them. Nangong Luyan silently looked at Su Luo, then suddenly smiled. His enchantingly red lips opened slightly. Don't you know how to teleport? Huh. Su Luo doubtfully lifted up her palm-sized little face, and looked at Nangong Luyan in puzzlement. Chapter 1642, Marvelous Counterattack, 9. Nangong Luyan's gaze swept the surroundings once, then raised an eyebrow to smile at Su Luo. The corner of his long and narrow phoenix eyes swept by attractively. Here, there is no more than 50 kilometers, it's not too difficult to inspect it. Like this, do you have an interest? Su Luo almost couldn't return to her senses from Nangong Luyan's gaze. When she returned to her senses, she glared at him in annoyance. Inspect Okay, my teleport so happens to be of use. Okay, you start from the left, I'll start from the right. Nangong Luyan suggested. Okay. Su Luo had just spoken these words when her figure disappeared. This foolish girl, she ran faster than a rabbit. Nangong Luyan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He shook his head and immediately after, his figure also gradually faded. In the original place were two figures that were left behind, who looked at each other in dismay. Ziyan. The two of us seem to have been abandoned. Bai Qining scratched his head. Seems like it. Then what are we to do? Don't know when they would finish inspecting. Maybe third senior brother had an interest in pulling Su Luo along to go watch the sunset and have a romantic date? Other people certainly wouldn't do it, but third senior brother had always done what he wanted. Carried away by a whim, he really would do it. Let's get rid of the leftovers. Bai Qining suggested. After their main force left, Bai Qining didn't dare to provoke a whole nest of hidden-eyed purple spiders. Even if they provoked one, the two of them could only flee. Can only do it like this. Ziyan helplessly nodded her head to express her agreement. But when they really started to fight with those few hidden-eyed purple spiders that remained, they realized that the two of them had really low efficiency. Kill one, then find another. Found one using a huge move. This move would kill the hidden-eyed purple spiders, but also wasted a huge move. Like this, the two people spent an hour but only killed 7 hidden-eyed purple spiders. Moreover, these 7 were the total for the two of them. This speed is too slow. When will we gather enough for 100 ah? Ziyan speechlessly looked at the sky, praying Su Luo or Nangong Luyan would quickly show up. Without the two of them, the days dragged on like years. Bei Qining also panted for breath and sat on the sand, looking at the white stones in his palm. No matter how he counted, it was still that number. He couldn't help but sigh faintly. Still 7. Ziyan rolled her eyes in annoyance at him. This fool, could it be that after counting many times, this 7 pieces would change into 8 pieces? Don't know if it was because they were too fierce in chasing to kill the hidden-eyed purple spiders. Now they had searched the surroundings and couldn't find a single scattered hidden-eyed purple spider. Just when the two were sighing in despair, Su Luo and Nangong Luyan finally appeared. How were the results of you guys' inspection? When Ziyan saw the two of them, her eyes were bright like stars, as she took quick steps towards them. Su Luo took out a piece of paper and started to draw a map on it. In just several strokes, the entire map of the barren land appeared on that white piece of paper. Here, 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 and also here. Su Luo pointed at 7 black dots on the white paper in a row. She lifted her head and smiled brightly at everyone. These 7 places are their nests. Moreover, according to my senses, the number is no less than the ones we first encountered. Wow! Ziyan clapped her hand and cheered. So to say, just gathering these would be more than 1,000 pieces, right? And if Dongfang Xian and them don't rush ahead of us, we ought to be able to kill them all. This was only half of the side Su Luo had inspected. Soon after, she gave the map to Nangong Luyan. This time, Su Luo's teleport was of great use. Chapter 1643. Marvelous Counterattack. 10. This time, Su Luo's teleport could be said to have been of great use. She was already able to control the direction and distance of teleport, so she was able to circle such a large area. After her inspection, she drew all the hidden-eyed purple spiders' nests she had sensed. Of course, Nangong Luyan was also of no exception. He took the pen and paper, with a few brush strokes marked 5 to 6 black spots, then handed the map back into Su Luo's hands. Su Luo's sight swept across the simple map once through. It wouldn't be easy to get close to the target in the shortest time possible. To also avoid those hidden-eyed purple spiders from getting the news and move their nest wasn't an easy task. Su Luo, after much calculation, drew up the best route to travel to hit the targets, then handed it to Nangong Luyan to have him look it over. Seeing the serious expression on Su Luo's face, Nangong Luyan gave a gentle laugh. Soon after, he touched Su Luo's pure white and flawless cheek. Your calculation is very accurate. Really? After being praised, Su Luo's eyes shone brightly. Yes, there's no difference with the one I calculated. Nangong Luyan spoke with certainty. That's good. Then let's just follow this route and advance. Su Luo put away the map, pulled Nangong Luyan, then turned her head to say to the two people behind. Quickly follow. This is still the border of the desert area. If Dongfang Xian and them come over to search, they will be able to see us at a glance. With Dongfang Xian's thick-faced and shameless personality, he will definitely come over to take a share of the action. He may even rob the fruits of our labor. Hearing this, Bei Qining and Ziyan were shocked. Su Luo used nothingness of space to cover the three of them, and soon after, a white light quickly flashed by. When they opened their eyes, the 4 of them had already appeared deep in the endless desert. Because Su Luo had actually taken them directly there via teleport. Su Luo pointed at the footprints in front of them to everyone. These are the footprints I left before as a mark. 1 kilometer ahead is the nest of the hidden-eyed purple spiders. Everyone must be careful. Ziyan and Bei Qining nodded. They had a firm look, and their gazes were earnest and serious. Who is going to make the first move? Ziyan asked in a low voice. The destructiveness of the first move must be the greatest. Because that whole nest of hidden-eyed purple spiders didn't know the human beings who wanted to slaughter them were already close, so they hadn't fled. Once the first move was released, by catching them off guard, they definitely could kill a large number of them. How about we attack together? Suluo thought about it and cautiously proposed the idea. We each stand in the 4 directions, blocking the entire north, south, east and west. This way, even if they want to escape, they can't. This is a good idea. Ziyan raised both hands in favor. Suluo raised her head to look at the sky, then proposed another idea. Now, the nest of the hidden-eyed purple spiders are in the shape of the character. The 4 of us each stand in the south, east and west, with Nangong Luyan on the north side. But when attacking, everyone pay attention here. The 3 of us attack first. The attack must land on this line of the shape. Suluo paused, then continued to say. Thus the hidden-eyed purple spiders will find there are no attacks from the north side, so all of the hidden-eyed purple spiders will flee to the north. The rest will all be handed over to Nangong. Because the 4 of their strengths were comparably weak, but Nangong Luyan was the strongest. As long as the hidden-eyed purple spiders didn't scatter and escape in all directions, he would be able to dig up the hidden-eyed purple spider's nest by himself. Before, when they attacked the first nest, because there weren't a plan of deployment, besides Nangong Luyan, the rest of them had acted with confusion. In the end, although they exterminated that nest, but they had also spent a lot of effort. Moreover, during the fighting, they also let several hidden-eyed purple spiders escape. Chapter 1644. Marvelous Counterattack. 11. Those that escaped just let them escape, but afraid they would go and spread the news. When that time came, and every one of them escaped, where would they look for the targets? Therefore this time Suluo adopted the method and chased all of these hidden-eyed purple spiders to Nangong Liuyun's side. With him personally undertaking this task, the hidden-eyed purple spiders would be completely wiped out. After listening to Suluo's plan, Nangong Liuyun's handsome eyes flashed with light and stared straight at Suluo. What are you looking at? Is there a flower on my face? Suluo doubtfully opened her eyes wide. How could flowers be more beautiful than you? Silly girl. Nangong Luyan didn't expect that Suluo would think of this method. It had to be said that Suluo's calculation was extremely accurate and in accordance to everyone's strengths, thus doubling the efficiency. If it's fine, then can we begin? Suluo was always worried that Dongfang Xian would try to snatch things from her. What kind of person was Nangong Luyan? Even with a blink of Suluo's eyes, he could accurately guess at her meaning. How could he possibly not guess at her thoughts now? Chuckling, he shook his head, then suddenly rubbed Suluo's head. Silly girl, don't be so anxious. For the time being, Dongfang Xian won't be able to come over. Why? Suluo didn't have time to ask Nangong Luyan why, and instantly he was able to guess her thoughts. She was curious why Dongfang Xian wouldn't be able to come over for a while yet. He went to the other side of the precipice, but that wire netting. Nangong Luyan pretended to be doubtful as he rubbed his chin. Perhaps it was because of being blown by the wind and baked in the sun. It was worn down by years of no repair, so unknowingly broke. Not only Suluo, Ziyan and Beichening also exploded out with laughter. Suluo even covered her belly, yelling, "Ouch, my stomach hurts." She never expected that Nangong Luyan would be so black-bellied. Moreover, his speed would be this fast. Just that short time of them inspecting, he was able to make a round trip around that precipice. He even moved some hands and feet. Why are you looking at me like that? I didn't do it. Nangong muttered 2 sentences, clearly separating himself cleanly from the blame. Right, you didn't do it. You did it while sleepwalking. Suluo, with great difficulty, stopped laughing. Seeing his pretending to be innocent appearance, she couldn't help but laugh out loud again. That wire netting was really broken by the blowing of the wind. Nangong Luyan stared seriously at Suluo, speaking as though making a solemn vow. Yes, today's wind really is very strong. Suluo followed along with his nonsense. Who didn't know that Nangong Luyan was a wind element mage? That wind blade technique flying over, would it be that difficult to cut the wire netting? Nangong Liyun smiled and patted Su Luo's head. Don't add to the confusion by making criminal charges. Go to work, work. Whether Dongfang Xian could return to this side of the cliff, that would depend on his own strength and luck. Throwing the matter of Dongfang Xian aside, the four people set to work. Nangong Liyun flew to midair, his sword aura sending out vibrations. Very quickly he marked a circle on the sand. Inside was the hidden-eyed purple spider's nest. The four people stood firmly in the four directions, Su Luo at the east, Ziyan to the south, Beichening to the west, and Nangong Liyun at the north. Ready. Nangong Liyun's low voice could be heard. The three people nodded simultaneously. As a result, Nangong Liyun's robe passed by. Immediately, a countless number of fireballs, water balls, ice balls all smashed on the edge of the circle. The hidden-eyed purple spiders that were originally hiding under the piles of sand suddenly felt as though the end of the world was coming. They panicked and were at a loss, not knowing what to do. In all directions, the sand flew, and spirit force madly exploded and bubbled forth. The sand rolled like lava. Chapter 1645, Marvelous Counterattack 12. The continuous attacks from the south, east and west direction made rumbling sounds and the entire sand dune collapsed. Only the north side was safe. Therefore, the simple-minded them didn't need to think and fled to the north. However, how would these pitiful creatures know? In fact, the real hungry wolf was guarding at the north. If they ran towards any of the other three directions of south, east and west in a group, then the possibility of escape was very high. Unfortunately, the stimulant by experience caused their death. Right now, they recklessly headed towards the north side, majestically forming a knot. The corner of Nangong Liyun's mouth rose into an unconcerned and remotely cold smile. The dense numbers of hidden-eyed purple spiders rushed out from the pile of sand. Yet, before they could feel life was fickle, and fortunately, they escaped one after another. A ball of lightning full of destructive force exploded among them. Boom! The place where the ball of lightning passed through. A deep pit appeared on the flat surface of the sand. And in this deep pit was buried several tens of puzzled and innocent hidden-eyed purple spiders. A group of hidden-eyed purple spiders came out. Then a ball of lightning smashed over. Among the intense bombardment of balls of lightning, there was not a single hidden-eyed purple spider that could escape the fate of death. This time, the battle ended even faster than the first time. In a mere cup of tea's time, these hidden-eyed purple spiders very honestly laid with legs in the air in the deep pit. They could not be more dead. Nangong Liyun, you're so amazing. Su Luo rushed up to hug his arm. It could be said that most of the hidden-eyed purple spiders here had died under Nangong Liyun's balls of lightning. Su Luo's words in Nangong Liyun's ears made him feel very happy and useful. He smiled charmingly, raising an enchanting eyebrow. Isn't it just 100 hidden-eyed purple spiders? Even if 1,000 comes, it won't be a problem. His Luo girl was praising him. In her heart, Nangong Liyun must be the best man in the world. Thinking of this, Nangong Liyun became even more pleased with himself, secretly vowing to kill even more hidden-eyed purple spiders to make her happy. While the two were chatting and laughing, Ziyan and Beichening very diligently went into the deep hole to pick up the sparkling white stones. The number this time is more than last time's, the total amounts to 120. Ziyan swiftly ran over and handed the bag filled with white stones to Su Luo for safekeeping. Not bad, in only a cup of tea's time, we were able to harvest so many. Su Luo looked at these white stones, and her smile was as bright as sunshine. These were all treasures, treasures. Nangong Liyun had gotten the dark element, but there was no cultivation book for the dark element. This time, she must help him draw one. Nangong Liyun saw Su Luo smiling until her eyes disappeared and only her teeth was visible. And his heart was happy. In his heart, as long as Su Luo was happy, he would try his best and even put his life on the line to do it. Let alone to say killing these hidden-eyed purple spiders that only took a slight effort. Little miser. Nangong Liyun's long fingers hooked her nose, exasperatedly saying, "What do these count as? There are a lot more up ahead." Su Luo's eyes gleamed. "That's right. There are more up ahead. We must append all the nests, not giving Dongfang Xian's group any." "Yes." Ziyan very much endorsed this and nodded. Then she said seriously, Dongfeng Xian's luck is not bad. Didn't he draw a purple-colored crystal stone before? If you give him another chance, it'll be difficult to ensure that he won't draw good things, so it's best not to even give him a chance. Chapter 1646, Marvelous Counterattack, 13. So several people rushed against time to work. Such a large desert. In less than 2 hours, they had destroyed 6 nests in a row. But when they found the 7th nest, they discovered that things had changed. Dongfeng Xian, Luo Haoming and Li Aochen, these 3 people, had formed a triangle shape to surrounded the hidden-eyed purple spider's nest. Now they were continuously attacking the hidden-eyed purple spiders inside that were fleeing in all directions. Damn, they actually got to it first, how hateful. Su Luo had a depressed look as she glared at those 3 people. Then, she looked down at the map in her hand, and finally, she reluctantly crossed out that little black dot. Do we want to? Beichening made the gesture for a sneak attack. At this time, they could rush in and catch a lot of the hidden-eyed purple spiders among the confusion. But Su Luo shook her head. Rather than wasting time disputing with them, it's better that we hurry up and destroy the rest of the nests. Su Luo frowned. Dongfeng Xian's strength can't be underestimated. He is able to go deep into the desert to find the hidden-eyed purple spider's nest, indicating he definitely can see a thing or two. Don't know how he got back over that cliff. Ziyan muttered in dissatisfaction. How good would it be if Dongfeng Xian had stayed over there? Then no one would snatch things with them. Able to obstruct them for so long is good enough. We are already ahead of them by more than 1,000. Su Luo was satisfied with this kind of battle result. Then pointed to a black dot on the map. Enough, let's quickly go. Thus, in a hidden area, Su Luo took everyone over there by teleport. Dongfeng Xian's brows knitted tightly. Just now he had sensed Su Luo's aura. How was it that it had disappeared in the blink of an eye? Could it be that they had gone deep into the sand to then run out and fight with them? Don't worry about these hidden-eyed purple spiders. Pay full attention to the changes under the sand up ahead. Dongfeng Xian's face was serious and cold as he issued this order. Dongfeng Xian's order was an unprecedented mistake. During this delay of his, a lot of the hidden-eyed purple spiders had run out in disorder towards all directions and scattered all over the place. If Su Luo saw this situation, she would certainly hang her head and stamp her feet, because this signified that very possibly, those hidden-eyed purple spiders could go spread the news. At the same time, it also signified that in the future, they wouldn't have a chance to kill them with high efficiency when eliminating their nests. Sure enough, when Su Luo went to the next stop, at the place that was originally marked on the map, there wasn't a trace of the hidden-eyed purple spider to be found. Damn it! Su Luo raged. It must be Dongfeng Xian's group that made a mistake and implicated us. If I had known earlier, I should have killed them all at that time. Ziyan was also furious. How could they be so stupid? To continue fighting like this with a rare few. How long would we manage to scrape together 100? Moreover, 100 pieces is only one chance to draw a prize, and there is a huge chance of getting thank you for your patronage. If all the hidden-eyed purple spiders could be drawn to one place, that could be considered a good method. Nangong Luyan rubbed his chin, looking thoughtful. But all these hidden-eyed purple spiders have been scared to death. They fled everywhere to escape. How do we draw them? Ziyan felt that the possibility was close to 0. But Su Luo's eyes gradually became brighter. Gather them all in one place. Luo, you have a way? Ziyan and Su Luo had full rapport. When she saw Su Luo rub her chin with her mouth slightly hooked up, she knew Su Luo had a good idea. Haven't tried it yet, so for the time being, don't know if it'll be effective. Although she said this, the expression in Su Luo's eyes were quite certain. Chapter 1647, Marvelous Counterattack 14. What method? Quickly say it for us to hear. Beichening excitedly grabbed Su Luo's sleeves. But before he even touched Su Luo's hand, his claw was waved away by Nangong Luyan. Go play at the side. Beichening could only run to Su Luo's other side in an eager manner, weakly pulling at her sleeves. His bright, lustrous black eyes looked at Su Luo pitifully, fluttering his thick, curled-up eyelashes that were like cicadas' wings. Su Luo saw him like this, and immediately placed her hand on her forehead helplessly. Could this child not be so silly? Su Luo felt helpless, and spread out her right palm. There, lying in the center of her jade-like hand, was a small jade bottle. A faint light flitted across the water inside the jade bottle. Top-grade celestial spirit water. Bei Qining exclaimed. This thing was a treasure, ah. At that time, Luo Lu had given him some to drink. The effect was extremely good. Yes, top-grade celestial spirit water. Su Luo's eyes were half-narrowed, a trace of seriousness flashing by. As far as I know, the magical beasts really like top-grade celestial spirit water. You say, if I take this to draw the hidden-eyed purple spiders, wouldn't it have an effect? It definitely will. Bei Qining nodded firmly. Even if you were escaping for your life, you would still be drawn despite everything? Definitely. Wealth and honor are sought among danger. Bei Qining nodded repeatedly. Su Luo put away the top-grade celestial spirit water and nodded in satisfaction. I hope that the IQ of the hidden-eyed purple spiders is the same as yours. Bei Qining stared blankly for quite a while before figuring it out. When he wanted to find Su Luo for revenge, he saw that her figure had already disappeared into a white light. Is such a small bottle enough? Bei Qining muttered to himself. At that time, the little divine dragon used this water to bathe in. You say whether she has enough or not? Nangong Liuyun's lips hooked into a ghost of a smile. His smile was demonically charming and incomparably handsome. What? Bei Qingying's eyes became as big as copper bells. He almost bit off his tongue in excitement. The little dragon used it to bathe in? How is this possible? It's absolutely impossible. Even if you killed him, he wouldn't believe it. Why? Because this was top-grade celestial spirit water. Every drop was worth a considerable amount. Yet Su Luo actually extravagantly bathed the little dragon with it? Still letting him shower with it? Was there such a wasteful way? Bei Qining repeatedly shook his head, expressing his firm disbelief. Nangong Liuyun was too lazy to bother with this crazy youth. He reclined against the withered white poplar tree with arms crossed behind his back. His gaze looked at the azure sky. Soon after, his beautiful eyes closed as if he had fallen asleep. The progress on Su Luo's side wasn't as smooth as she first imagined. Su Luo ran one circle around the desert, and found that the vast majority of the hidden-eyed purple spiders were hiding underneath the sand layer. Moreover, they were scattered in ones or twos. As long as they made a move, the rest of the hidden-eyed purple spiders would be frightened and with a whoosh sound, would vanish without a shadow. Su Luo rubbed her chin, slanting her head to think about it. Very quickly she came up with an idea. In the modern world, when playing online games, Su Luo would often run around once to draw a lot of valuable enemies. When she ran back, behind her would follow a densely packed group that seemed strange. Now there was no revenge thought because as long as she struck, those hidden-eyed purple spiders which were already scared silly would escape and vanish without a trace. So now, Su Luo could only use top-grade celestial spirit water as bait. After Su Luo thought about it, she then pulled out the little nine-tailed fox. The small fox was in the middle of a deep slumber. After being lifted out by Su Luo, the two little claws gently rubbed her sleepy eyes, then lifted them to look innocently and blankly at her master. Su Luo poked the small fox's nose in exasperation. Chapter 1648, Marvelous Counterattack 15. Ever since the little divine dragon was taken away, the small fox had wilted and was listless all day long. If she wasn't looking at the sky, she was sleeping. Taking her out, she was combative and liked to pick fights. Placing her in the space, if she wasn't looking at the sky, she was sleeping, making people feel distressed just by looking at her. Okay, don't be like this, be more lively. Su Lu patted her little head. Now let's play a little game, okay? Not okay. The little fox shook her small head, and wanted to run into Su Luo's space to sleep. But, how could Su Luo so easily let her go? Not waiting for the little fox to react, a basin of high-grade celestial spirit water was poured all over its body. Immediately, just now, the The fluffy fur of this adorable thing, in an instant, looked like she was wearing see-through clothing. A body of pure white fur stuck close to her entire body. Sneeze, sneeze. The little fox sneezed repeatedly, suddenly being splashed in the face with ice-cold water. She was so cold that she almost became sick. However, the attractiveness of the high-grade celestial spirit water was truly great. The little fox subconsciously lowered her head to lick clean the water droplets. But before she could lick up more, she discovered that the surrounding environment seemed somewhat wrong. In a dim-witted manner, she lifted her head and looked all around with a bewildered expression. Afterwards, the adorable little fox was struck dumb. A group of spiders that had sprung out from who knows where with cold, dark bright green eyes were staring fixedly at the little fox. Their expressions were fiend-like, with saliva flowing steadily from their mouths. The little fox's adorable large eyes blinked, in a dim-witted manner, watching as the hidden-eyed purple spiders gradually encircled her. These blazing hot gazes made her heart jump with ba-dump sounds. If it was just one or two, then fine, she could settle them with a wave of her paw. But now there was at least several hundred, okay? The little fox was not stupid. With her 4 paws, quick as lightning, she suddenly burst away explosively, directly knocking over the hidden-eyed purple spiders that were trying to encircle her from the front. Seeing the little fox's figure was about to vanish, the hidden-eyed purple spiders became anxious. That was a good thing, although they didn't know what good thing it was, but that scent, that feeling, it was absolutely a great natural restorative tonic. Isn't. The hidden-eyed purple spiders collectively burst out with a hissing sound. Then they grandly chased after the little fox, pursuing closely and not letting go. As a result, a laughable scene appeared. At the front was a little fox whose fur was wetted by water, extending her 4 paws and running madly with lightning-like speed. Behind her was a grandiose group of hidden-eyed purple spiders, pursuing closely and not letting go. Moreover, in the process, there were hidden-eyed purple spiders that continuously came over to join in. Consequently, the procession became bigger and bigger, larger and larger. The little fox ran until she was gasping for breath. When she turned her head to look back, she was almost scared to death by the procession behind her. Many spiders. All of them had eyes giving off a green radiance, itching to skin her, pull out her tendons and suck her blood. Really scary. Boo-hoo, the little fox was so frightened that her feet trembled, almost falling down head first. These days she ate then sleep, and ate again, raising her to become fat, truly hateful. While the little fox continued to chatter and silently curse, she still spread her 4 paws and ran with lightning-fast speed. Her mouth let out poochie sounds, coarsely gasping for breath. Now, Su Luo had already teleported back to tell everyone to make proper preparations for battle. Really drawn them over? Bei Qining saw that Su Luo was empty-handed and couldn't help but be somewhat doubtful. You should rest assured when the time comes, guaranteed that how many you want to kill is how many you can kill. Your only worry should be whether you will be killed by the hidden-eyed purple spiders. Bei Qining was extremely unconvinced. Those little 7th-ranked beasts in this grandpa's eyes are merely an ant-like existence. They can easily be crushed. Really? Su Luo faintly smiled, her finger pointed to the front, indicating to Bei Qining. Take a look, see what are those? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.